Jarvis?
Hey, Eddie. So, you want the rundown, the numbers, or help planning the day?
Jarvis, give me the brief for today.
Alright, here's the headline. It's a strong month. Top signal. Your last 30 days of YouTube views are up about 76%. And that's basically the scoreboard saying the daily cadence is doing its job.
Nice, okay. How's the numbers going? Show me some metrics.
So, on the service side of the house, healthy. You're at about 4,030 subscribers, roughly 32% over the last month. The audience is clearly saying, more please, which is exactly what you want while you spin up services on top.
So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build this Jarvis AIOS using the new Claude model Opus 4.8. Let's get straight to it. So I'm going to show you how to build the voice and the glowing HUD on top of a real agency operating system. So what the idea is, basically, you have a voice assistant, which is an AIOS, which is an AI operating system, which, if you don't know already, is basically the AI agent that has the complete knowledge of your workspace, that has context for your business, and it's kind of your first assistant and can help you with most of the tasks that you want to do throughout the day. And the idea is that you can talk to it, it thinks with an LLM, and it can answer out loud like a voice with a clone voice. And it shows kind of like a dashboard as you see it from Jarvis screen that's in sync with the speech. So like the animation, as you can see earlier, is in sync with the speech. So there are 3 files that are the most important one. So you have the agent, which is using Python script to build it, which is a Python voice agent. It can listen, think, and speak. And you have the HUD, which is kind of the display, which is a Nix.js. Again, you don't need to know what Nix.js is. It's just a framework for building the front end, like a dashboard, but just a cool dashboard. And as long as the agent joins the same room, then it starts to speak and it animates the panels, as you can see earlier. And the data, which is what it knows, kind of for now, it's kind of curated for this demo, but you can put in whatever data you want for your business, etc. Right? So essentially, it kind of goes down to 2 paths. So the voice kind of speaks like a short human summary, and then the visual dashboards you saw earlier kind of showed a structured rendering of an event, like the daily brief, kind of showing it line by line on the dashboard, right? And this is how we kind of think about architecting the solution. So first of all, it's you who is speaking. So you have a mic, right? So you speak, and you have something that translates what you speak, audio, into text. And that is what we call a speech to text layer. And in this demo, we'll be using DeepGram. Then we have a LLM, the agent, which is the brain is powered by GPT 5.1. And it has multiple tools attached to the GPT that it can perform certain actions on. And after the GPT thinks, perform an action, then it output a text. You go for a text to speech through the 11 labs, essentially, which is a cloned Jarvis voice. And then it will run the tools, of course. So the tools will have different outputs. So one of those outputs could be the animation that you saw in the dashboard just now. This is kind of like the overall idea. And it has 5 different capabilities. Each one is a tool attached to an agent. That means that when the tool is attached to an agent, the agent can then call these tools at random to perform actions. One of such tools that we have is kind of get daily brief. So as you heard earlier, when I said brief me on XYZ, it will create a brief card and the signals, right, as you saw earlier. And then you will see like, hey, run me some metrics, then it will draw me like a subscription, chart line, etc. And then it also has like a get pipeline, so like you can kind of know what's at risk right now. And then what was said about X is like kind of searching for the messagings. And then how should I do my day is kind of planning my day. So it has 5 different actions you can do, mostly some metrics, kind of risk assessment, planning for my day, and getting a daily brief for actions that I need to do for my business right now. Right. And something I've done in the backend as well is that I've actually called an AIOS demo one. So the reason why I use this demo one just now, just to show you so that it's as a demo for you guys. But in the backend, I actually have something set up. So it's AIOS demo mode equals to 0. So it's actually live data querying my actual business databases. But of course, I don't want to show that to you guys, right? So I just turn it on for demo weeks 1. And it actually gives you like kind of some sort of smooth visuals, like a self-drawing chart, which is kind of like you don't need to know what SVG is, but it's basically a path that kind of animates the graph that you saw just now. And you also, like a brief, basically, you will go through it letter by letter in the brief, kind of line by line animations, right? That can do that. And here's exactly how you're able to set this up for your business and yourself if you want to play around with it. It takes 15 minutes, even less than that. So all you have to do is kind of go to LiveKit, go to livekit.com, which is an open source framework for building AI agents, and get your account. And once you're in, all you have to do is go to project and go to kind of create a project. So if you go to here, you go and create new projects right here. And after you create a new project, you will go to the project settings like this. And you can see like the project ID, project URL, and zip URL, etc. Now, what you actually want to do is you want to go to API keys and go ahead and click on create key and just name it something, right? Just name it like demo, for example, and just generate key. And now you just need to copy this, save this somewhere, which is your LiveKit URL, LiveKit API key, and LiveKit API secret. It's going to be useful later on. So just copy this and just close this, right? And obviously I'm just going to delete mine. Let's just revoke mine. And now after you're done with the LiveKit, which is kind of like the framework for building, kind of like if you think about like the plumbing and setting up the infrastructure of these voice agents. And the next thing you need to get is Deepgram, which is a way to transcribe your voice to text. They give a very generous, I think it's $2,000 credit or something like that. Very, very generous free tier. So it's completely free. Just sign into your account. And yeah, just you need to create an API key and copy this. And for 11 Labs, actually, if you go to 11 Labs and create an account, this is the voice that we're going to get. So the voice I use actually is you go to Voices in 11 Labs. You just click on Jarvis. I had it. Jarvis, right? This is the one. So if you just copy this voice ID as well, so that you let Claude Code notes kind of what voices you want. This is the Jarvis voice. And also if you go to developers and you go to API keys, and then you just create a key just now and copy this API key as well. So you should have 11 Labs, you have the API key, the voice ID. For Deepgram, you have the API key. For LiveKit, you have the LiveKit URL, LiveKit API key, and LiveKit API secret. So all these things. And the last thing you need to do is go to use your LLM. So for me, I'm using GPT, so I'll have an OpenAI API key. And now all you have to do is kind of go to Claude Code. And for me, I have a command, which is Claude Run. So this is my workspace. And as you can see, I'm running Opus 4.8, which is kind of the default settings. It's in high tier reasoning effort. And the reason why I have this Claude Run command is so that it has all the context for my business. And what we're going to do is we're going to be creating this project. So we're going to be creating a folder that contains all the different scripts and files for this specific agent. I've already built it, but just to let you know that within this project folder, I have the Jarvis AIOS. And as you've seen from the PowerPoint before, that we have 3 files, right? We have the agents, right? Which is the LiveKit agent. We have the seed, right? And the web. The seed is the databases. It's kind of like the demo databases that I have. And the web is kind of the front end that has the HUD and the animation, right? So what we're going to do here is paste in like a prompt that I already have. So I would say, build me a Jarvis AIOS, a voice-controlled AI operating system with a glowing heads-up dashboard on top of my real business data. Put it in project Jarvis AIOS in 3 parts. The agent, which is the Python, which is the LiveKit agent. The web, which is the Nix.js HUD, and the seed, which is the demo data. The agent, you just described what it is. It's a LiveKit agent that voice loops the Deepgram as speech to text, the GPT 5.1 as the brain via a LiveKit plugin OpenAI, 11 Labs text to speech in my clone voice, voice ID from my 11 Labs voice ID, and the VAD, which is a kind of voice automatic detection, all keys from .env. So again, .env is basically an environment file that you paste in all the API keys. Now, remember when I just told you to paste in all of those secrets? This is where you will put it inside the env file in this folder that this agent will create, right? This is kind of like the last steps. And then you have 5 function tools. Each one does 2 things: return a short spoken summary and publishes a random event to the HUD to the screen animated in sync with the voice. So you have like the get daily brief, which is like a brief panel, the metrics. Again, if you have a YouTube channel, ask Claude Code to connect to it, like kind of just fetches your subscribers, views, watches time, etc. You have a get pipeline, which is like a deal funnel, at risk deals flag. And then you have a research intel, which is the meeting plus message and timeline. And then you have like plan my day, which is prioritize action list, right? And then this is the system prompt itself. So these are kind of the instructions for Claude Code to build the AI agents and what the structure of the AI agent looks like. But this defines the personality of the Jarvis agent itself, right? So I'll just say calm, dry, kind of witty, kind of chief of staff, concrete tone example, and the banned words like no, understood, absolutely. So it never sounds like a bot. And this is the contract, something called a contract. So the agent and the HUD, which is the dashboard, share one LiveKit room. So LiveKit has a concept called room where the participants can join in. So the backend, which is the agent, and the front end, which is the animation, the dashboard, joins into a single room. And tools publish JSON over the room data channel on something called AIOS.render. And you can have 5 render type strings, literal. So you have the brief, metrics, pipeline, intel, actions. each one of those string corresponds to the tool that you're getting. So these 5 tools correspond to each of these string literals, right? And they must be bytes identical in the Python publisher. Again, you don't need to worry too much about this. If you don't really understand it, you can just copy paste this if you want, and then write a contract.mt documenting it. And then the data, which is a data layer. So this is where the Jarvis is able to fetch that information and create this amazing dashboard. So that will be your business data. So you will need to have a database. So maybe you have some sort of spreadsheet of your revenue data or CSV file, whatever you have. It's a good idea to put it inside the same folder, for example, inside this Jarvis AIOS folder that you already have, if you want the agent to be able to, Jarvis to be able to curate. Yeah, so this data layer is the only thing that touches my databases. And then for me, I have a demo 1 equals to 1. That's kind of like a demo data. And then 0 is the actual data inside my Claude Code workspace, essentially. And then finally, we have the HUD, which is Next.js for Tailwind, which is just tech stack, which is a glowing dark blue HUD that joins the room, listens for random events and animates the matching panel. The brief types in letter by letter, the chart draws itself across the time axis, and the funnel bars wrote at brisk pulses red. So essentially, this is teaching Jarvis like what color scheme you want. Actually, if you prefer, like this is another like hack if you want, just screenshot this, just screenshot what I have here. So I have engaged, just literally screenshot this. Just literally screenshot this and then just show this to Claude Code. So this is one way of giving reference to Claude, because it's a multimodal model, what you want to look like, right? So yeah, so if you just literally put the prompts in here, you should, I'm not going to run it because I already have it, but then it should be able to construct something similar like the output, just so you know what the output looks like. Again, you have the agent, you will have the agent.py, which is the actual main agent profile. So this is what created the agent, right? This is actually how we construct the entire LiveKit AI agent. We have the AIOS data. So this is kind of like the fake data that I'm putting in as a demo for the LiveKit agent. And then we have the prompts, which is the system prompt for Jarvis. So it's quite comprehensive. So you are Jarvis, the voice of Eddie's AI operating system, and how you sound, just play around with it. And then what you can do, which is 5 things, right? You have a daily brief, metrics, pipeline, intel, and plan, etc. Right? And then you have render.py. Again, this is basically the file that Claude Code should output about rendering, about the animation, right, from the dashboard. And then you have tools.py, which contains those 5 tools in which the agent.py has access to. This is just a tools file, right? And then you have the seed. Again, this is just to remind you that this is where the data is. This is just some of the fake metrics that I have, so don't worry too much about this. And then web folder, basically how the animation and dashboard is going to look. This is the front end, right? So you should have something like that. And you should have a contract.mb, again, which is about the LiveKit room that I mentioned to you about, and also a readme.mb, so that anyone who's new to this project can see what you've built, essentially. I know this is all kind of overwhelming, so I've actually included a step-by-step setup guide here. From here, that should be quite explanatory. You can actually get that using the link in the description, and you can just get this PDF guide, and you can just plug this into Claude Code as well, which makes it very easy for you guys to build this one. But yeah, this is just a very quick video just to showcase what you can build nowadays with Opus 4.8, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, if you enjoyed this kind of video, remember to like, comment, subscribe. And if you're a business owner and you would like to work with me and my team to build AI solutions for your business, you can use the link in the description to book a free discovery call with us. And yeah, I will see you in the next video.